Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Before I start, if you want to see some of the university work I do regarding watches and all that, I'll leave a link in the top corner. And also, please like and subscribe, it really does help the channel to grow. Anyway, what do we have today? Well, we've got this, what I think is just a lovely looking Oris 65 Diver Chrono. It's one of those watches, I think, which is hard not to like. It just looks so cool. It's so many watches, when they sort of like come out with a chrono version of that model, they tend to over bloat it. It tends to really, pile on the pounds and size, and it suddenly becomes a big hefty beast which no one actually wants to wear. Well, this one I think is completely different to that. I think it looks so good when compared to the original model. But anyway, before I get too far into a review, I've got to say a massive thank you to Ryan and the team over at Francis Gaye of Coventry for allowing me to review this watch. Honestly, guys, they've just got so much stock. It's crazy how many watches they've got. Well worth popping in if you're in the Midlands area. If you're a bit further afield, I will leave a link in the description below. So anyway, let's talk sizes of this watch. We're talking a 40mm case. Now the thickness, if you look on the Oris website, they tell you the case size is 12.7mm. And that's actually correct. You can't fault that. But what they neglect to leave out is this whopping great big gorgeous sapphire crystal. So yes, this pointer down here is about 12.5mm, but then you've got to add on another 3mm or so for the thickness of this crystal. So if you measure it with the crystal, which is obviously what it's the only way to wear the watch, it actually comes out around about 15.4 mil thick, which I know lots of people are automatically going to say that's too thick, but honestly it sinks down onto the wrist. It feels like a 13mm watch when it's on your wrist. The lug to lug size, that's the longest point across the body of a watch here, is 47.5mm, and the bracelet size is 20mm. So let's have a look at that dial. I think the dial is just lovely. It's one of those dials, well, I say so many times manufacturers come up with a chrono and suddenly it's far too busy. But I personally think this one just looks great. You have the applied hour markers set in there, and they've got this nice polished edge. Then you've got full of lume, as to are these hands. Now the lume, to be fair, is pretty good on this watch. It does look, I think, really, really nice. Now what makes it nice as well, you've got this inky black dial. It really looks like it absorbs all of the light. It is so cool how they've done it. It's really nice. The applied hour markers, as I say, are all polished on the outside, as too are the hands. Now as you can see in here, because of all my lights, I'm picking up so many reflections on this crystal. The crystal is absolutely gorgeous, but unfortunately it does pick up a lot of reflections. Now you do have 2 subdials here. You've got the minute counter for the chrono, and you've got the constant running seconds. Now what I do like is they didn't add a date window to this watch. Now the standard model has a date window, but they decided not to put that in because it would have been so easy to fill the dial with too much information. And to be fair, when you're keeping a watch at 40mm, a chrono at 40mm, I think it's better off for not having it, to be fair. You could have fitted it, but it would just been a bit messy. And that's one thing I do like, the fact they didn't do it. Now when it comes to the chrono, let's have a listen. Real solid punch to it. And as you can see, that second hand dances around there really nice. So overall, I think the dial's lovely. We've got just the Oris name going on there. Water resistant, 100 bar, 10 bar or 100 meters, and Swiss made. To be fair, that's all the information I think you really need on this dial. The dial just looks so good. So many companies, as I say, fill up with line after line after line of text, and it's something I think you don't need. And I think Oris have done, this is all you need. I would have even said you could have got away with, even getting rid of the 100 meter and 10 bar on there, or even just water resistant and kept it absolute down to a minimal. So, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's have a look at this once this second hand comes around. This minute hand should jump over there. Let's see. Boom. Solid. No problem at all. Now, let's do a reset. See how it looks. Sharp, crisp, nice. Now, as we come past that, as I say, look at that crystal. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, that crystal is exactly what was fitted onto the original 65 diver. And as you can see, there is no difference. They're both a kind of 40mm. They both look, I think, fantastic. But you can see where the extra thickness is on that. But yeah, that's the original and non-chrono version, first gen, and that's the new chrono. So anyway, that crystal has got AR coating, but to be fair, with that amount of curvature on there, you're always going to pick up reflections, no ifs or buts. It's just one of those things. Now, when it comes to the bezel, it is quite smooth, to be fair. It's not the easiest to grip, but as we do turn it, let's have a listen. Very sharp, very nice click. There's a little tiny bit of back play there, only a little bit, but I'm not going to complain at that. And let's whiz it round. Is it a... Yeah, it feels like 120 click, I'd say. Now, as we bring it round, does it line up? Yes, it does. Of course it does. So that's really nice. It looks like an aluminium insert. Now, the beauty of an aluminium insert is it will fade as the years go by. If you have this out in the light especially, which will give this a real nice patina as it gets older. Now, the case itself is really nice. They've kind of kept it... Is it very similar? You can see it's got a little bit more meat on it than the non-chrono version. But it still does a nice job of sitting down snugly on the wrist. You do have the back on here. Unfortunately, you don't have a display case on the back of this one, which is a little bit of a shame. It does house what Oris call their caliber 771, which is actually based on the Sellita. Well, I don't think it's based. I think it is a Sellita SW510, which has minimal 48 hours of power and a 27 dual movement. To be fair, that's also based on the 7750, which is a real strong, solid workhorse. So you shouldn't have any problems with that. In fact, has it got the typical... Can you feel the rotor wobble on this? No, not really. Well, you can hear it a tiny bit, but you can feel it a little bit. That's always reminiscent of any of the 7.7 series of chronograph movements. You could always feel the rotor a little bit, and I kind of like it. Some people don't, but I really do. On this side, obviously, you've got the pushers, and you've got the crown itself is a screw down type. And boom, popped. So you got plenty of thread on there. Now, as we come past this, we have, to be fair, I think it's a lovely bracelet. It's one of the few of its type, really. They've kind of kept with this faux riveted style on here, and the rest of them are, I believe they are screwed on this. Yep. Oh no, are they? I'm not sure if they are screwed or not, looking at it. I think they're screwed, but I can't be 100% sure. No, it looks like pins, actually. It's quite interesting. But the clasp is so thin, and you've got a ton of micro adjustment on that clasp. I believe it is exactly the same as the clasp on the standard one. And what makes it unusual is that it's very, very slim, and I personally really like it. So yeah, you can see the brushing on mine has worn off somewhat. I'll have to redo that at work at some point. It's a twin pusher arrangement on there, and out, and there you go. Let's put it on my wrist and see how it looks. But zoom out, quick wrist check. I'm wearing my Mini Alpinist, which I love this watch. It's such a cute watch. And I'm wearing it on one of John Keely's Black Island watches. Black Island Leatherworks, sorry. Straps. They're fantastic. Excellent value for money. I think about £35. Now Bob. Ooh, Bob has got a real nice Yamaha. Let's see, it's the 500 Superman. Now, I've got to get reviews of these out soon, because these are absolutely superb watches and real bargains. So anyway, my wrist size is 7¼ inches. Obviously, you can see just how much bracelet size you get on this. You get plenty, so you should be all right. Even if you're an ape of a man with an 8-inch or plus wrist, you can probably get away with this. So anyway, on the wrist, I think it just looks stunning. I think it's a really nice watch, and you see how it hides that thickness. It just, because the way it settles down into the wrist, you only read the side of the case, and it suddenly looks a lot smaller and feels a lot smaller than it actually is. You know, I think it's superb. Now, one thing I should also point out, if you go, you get a 2-year warranty as standard with this model, but if you register it online, you can actually get a further 3 years, so you can get a 5-year warranty. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you to it at that, and most importantly, stay safe out there. Bye.